And so that led you in that relationship is what fostered your recent endeavor with Josh, where you wrote the new Super Mario Brothers fan film that you guys did.
Right. We could argue about the percentage. Josh seems to think I wrote 90%. I think I wrote closer to 65.
Yeah, it's probably about 60, between 60 and 70%, something like that.
And I've just been throwing Josh scripts. So Josh will periodically make the mistake of texting me, asking me for something, and I'll send him 47 texts about an idea.
I didn't know that you had interest in. I mean, I knew you were into the movies and stuff, but I didn't know. Have you written any stuff before?
No. Well, here's the thing. When we were working together.
By the way, how's Lacey? I should ask you.
Oh,
that.
She's doing good.
Good.
She's doing
you
good.
tell her I said hi.
She probably heard you say that.
Oh, okay.
So we were working together, and we started collecting these batteries for these headsets, and I wrote bad batteries on the box. And so my friend Chase Middleton came up there, and he's like, that sounds like a terrible 80s horror movie. And I said, correction, that sounds like a great 80s horror movie. So we were like, hey, we need to get with Josh, and we need to put this together. And so we came up with these ideas, which Josh swears we're going to make this movie eventually.
Eventually.
Josh makes short films. This is a feature-length film. I understand. Let's build the momentum first. But I did the physical writing part of that, and then I really enjoyed it. And I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. So I was like, I took it up as a hobby. It's not like I'm out there trying to make millions of dollars off of it. But
you never know.
Hey, I mean, you do never know. But then I looked into like, hey, there's writing competitions for it. So I might enter some of those eventually. But, writing has always been something that kind of interested me. Mm-hmm. But, it's a matter of sitting down and getting it done, just like anything else.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
It's about putting the time in.
Yeah, so I wrote 5 business books during COVID because courts were shut down. We had extra time, and I published on my Amazon. And then I also published around that time this book I had written over a decade ago about my daughter. And I like writing also. I like reading and I like writing, right? But it's funny you say you got to set aside the time because for whatever reason, during COVID, I was very diligent in getting it done. Every day I had a goal of what I would write. Then I would usually go back and edit what I wrote and then write on. Because what I did was, I think what you guys do is harder because you're writing fiction. And mine was effectively nonfiction because it's me advising you on things to do. It's more of like, I guess, journaling really than anything. Anyway, what I was going to say, though, is fast forward, I tore my hamstring off the bone, right, a month and a half ago or so. And I was going to be down for 2 weeks. I had to. I had to be no weight bearing, no standing, literally laying there. So I was like, you know what? It's a great opportunity to write again. But you know what ended up happening this time?
What's that?
I ended up playing Call of Duty a lot. And so I got...
The video games will get you, man.
Yeah, so I was like, this is so... Next thing I know, it's 2 weeks has gone by. And I was super inefficient. I did do some work. I had set a workstation up at the house so I could still do some client stuff and lawyer stuff. But I didn't do the extra stuff I thought I would do. But what I was going to ask you, I say all that just because I have respect for people that do any writing. When you write a screenplay, you would think I would know this being Josh's brother, but I've never paid any attention to it. Is it written like a play? Like, do you write, like, this is the scene and the setting, and then you have, like, the dialogue broke down? Is that how you do it, or how do you set it up?
Basically, yes. Mm-hmm. That's essentially what you'll want to do, and everything has to kind of flow.
Did y'all storyboard any of it, or?
I storyboard some of my movies. I didn't this one. When I did Legend of Zelda in 2019, I did very mediocre storyboards for it's like stick people, but it's just basically get you an idea of like what the shots are going to be.
So I didn't storyboard any of it, but what I did do was there's something called a log line, which is essentially like the flow of the film. And so when we did Bad Batteries, and then again when I was doing this for Josh, I got a dry erase board, and then just sort of like you put the beats in there as they flow so that nothing gets out of sync. Mm-hmm. So it all lines up together. And then, you want to have things like callbacks and things like that because there's something called, Chekhov's gun, which is you show something at the beginning of a story. It's supposed to come back into play, in the third act. Mm-hmm. So you want to have things that sort of loop and are cyclical.
Yeah, and you're really good at that because, when we did this one, there was stuff I had wrote in there that I then didn't have come back later. And then you wrote jokes at the end that were payoffs to things I had wrote at the beginning that I never even thought of that was really good. So, you're really good at doing that stuff.
I appreciate that. I think it's really important, when you're doing these sorts of things. It doesn't necessarily have to be a dry erase board, but to just have, like, a breakdown of the beats of everything that's happening. So you can go, okay, well, does this line up? You know, do we lose the momentum here? Is this necessary? You know, does it have a payoff? Especially in a comedy, right? You want to know, is this funny?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be always funny. There have to be some dramatic beats too, but Bad Batteries is just no drama.
Hysterical. No, I can't wait to make that one because, like, I'm telling y'all, the script for that is genuinely hysterical.
Well, the Super Mario Brothers one, which is called
Back in the Game.
Back in the Game. Yeah, I saw you did the trailer on it. And those who are just tuning in or curious what we're talking about, Josh does Mason Studios, which is where he does fan films and stuff like that. And he goes and he does cosplay videos and all this kind of thing. He's done it for a long time, and some are very good. The beginning ones, some aren't, but some are very good now.
Hey, I'll be the first to tell you, the early ones were terrible. Terrible.
But anyway, and he's gotten to a semi-professional level with it where people, you know, he's people that are in other plays and movies and whatnot will do it. Anyway, and then Raymond's been a friend of ours, and he wrote a significant portion of the new one that's coming out, and it's available on the Mason Studios page. Well, the trailer is. When is the movie? When are you going to release the movie, Josh?
I haven't set a date yet. It'll be probably March, April.
Are you done with it?
It's 80% shot. We've still got like one more scene we got to shoot of the movie, so it's still got a little.
Have you seen what's been shot?
Hmm?
Oh, you have.
Well, let me rephrase that. I haven't seen everything that's been shot.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some of it.
You've seen parts of it, yeah.
Well, I realize you were
Josh
probably
showed
there, but you know it's different when you.
Shockingly, no. I was only there for the
one day.
One of the scenes.
Yeah.
Which
You're in it, right? Aren't you?
I am. I'm not a big player in it. I'm just an extra in it. I was a day player, as it were.
and then Josh, it features who
It's got
actor-wise?
Corey Kaufman is Mario. Dylan Scott is Luigi. We've got Mark Meeker playing Bowser. Nora Childers, who's also known as No Cosplays, playing Princess Peach. And then we got a TikToker named Andrew Tillis that is playing Toad. And J.D. Willis, which is a theater actor out of Memphis, is playing Yoshi. So those are like the main players. And there's a whole bunch of extras, and you know, John Wood helped out on the crew and different things like that.
Right.
So.
And everybody's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, this is the best cast and crew I've ever had of any movie. Yeah.
I didn't realize that was Dylan playing Luigi.
Yeah, it's Dylan.
I didn't recognize him.
Yeah, that means he's doing a good job as an actor. Then.
Yeah. Well, you got to think about it. Most of the time I've seen him, he's in a mask.
Yeah, that's true.
Every time I've seen him, he's wearing some outfit. Except, and even the time he was here, he was in glasses. So he was wearing sunglasses the whole time. He was too cool.